You asked, of the 4 most commonly purchased tape measures, who makes the best, the most durable, the biggest standout, the most readable, the most accurate tape measure? Today, we have some of the most scientific and grueling testing for you to ever see, witness here on the interwebs. And we're going to get started on it right after this message from our sponsor, VCG Construction. Want to help out with the channel? Head on over to the merch store. You get hats, hoodies, t-shirts. Link will be down in the description below. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Vince. I'm glad you're here. This is Tape Measure Testing 2.0, but we've made it as concise as possible. We have eliminated all of the tape measures presently that you're not buying anyway. We literally had taken numerous polls, surveys, talked with corporate, and found that these are the most purchased tape measures over at the Home Depot. You wanted to see them tested, all the accuracy, the pricing points, what was the most bang for your buck. We've put together the most elaborate and hands-free. We've reduced the amount of human interaction to literally 0%. You're gonna get no interference. You're getting no bias here through the most elaborate testing ever in the world. Let's get started right now. This is Milwaukee's 25-foot compact tape measure, 12 foot of clean reach. It's got a nylon blade coating. It's got an impact-resistant 5-point frame protection. Steel belt clip. It's lanyard ready. The hook is optimized for scoring. And Milwaukee claims 30% more compact while being just as durable. This is Milwaukee's magnetic stud tape measure. Up to 17 foot of reach, a scale on both sides of the tape. The first 6 inches has an additional coating. The fully reinforced body provides for an 80-foot drop. It's got an EXO 360 rip and tear blade technology. The magnetic hook holds on to steel studs and EMT. Includes an architectural scale here. It's got a wire belt clip as well as its lanyard ready here at the rear. This is DEWALT's Atomic Compact Tape Measure, 25 foot, 13 foot of standout or reach with this tape measure. It's got 20% more compact grip, fractions built into its single-sided scale. DEWALT's ToughSeries, they give a 17-foot claim of standout. It has a 2-sided scale. DEWALT also claims a 100-foot drop, the first 6 inches being reinforced. They have an additional magnet that comes with this tape to make it a magnetic hook. You could fit a lanyard at the rear, and we have a metal belt clip. Before we get started with any other testing, we want to just verify each tape measure's accuracy right out of the box. We're going to use the Stanley Fat Max made in the USA as a control here. And you can see that's dead on at 48 inches. We have Milwaukee's compact 25-footer. You could see here we're dead on at 48 inches. 4 feet for everyone else. Milwaukee's 25-foot stud, magnetic, dead on, 48 inches. This is DEWALT's 25-foot Compact Series, Atomic. This is dead on at 48 inches. Next up, we have DEWALT's ToughSeries 25-footer. This one looks to be off. It could be a maximum of about a 32nd. If you're using one tape measure every day and not moving through different tape measures, your expectation of the measurement would be consistent with that tape measure. The biggest problem I see with using a tape measure that's off would be when you're reading off measurements to a cut man, and then the cuts end up off. So you and your assistant or cut person would also need to be using the same tape measure. Each tape measure was extended to 25 foot. There have been instances where I personally have extended to the full 25 feet and the tape measure wouldn't retract. We have a completely randomized tape measure reading test. We have positions A, B, C, and D as far as the tape measures. Each scale has been pulled randomly, and then lines 1, 2, and 3 are the marks that will be read on each scale. The distance at which we're reading these tapes is 7 foot 9 inches, which is actually regulation dart throwing distance. It's like battleship. You'll hear us call out A, which would be the position of tape, and then 1, 2, or 3 would be the line that we're reading. Measurement reading, especially at this distance, is going to be plus or minus maybe 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch would be within acceptable range.
A1, I'm gonna say 6 3/4. A2 is 9 3/8. A3 is 13 5/8. B1 is 23 5/8. B2 is 26 1/8. B3 is 30 5/8. C1, 16. C2 is 18 1/2. C3 is 23 1/4. D1, 20 3/8. D2 is 22 3/4. D3 is 27 1/2. So from here, the most easily readable one for me is C. The line markings and the numerations are the easiest for me to read from this point of view. If I had to pick a second best for readability, it would be D. A and B, the compact ones, are a little bit more difficult to read from back here. I do like the yellow on the tape of the DEWALT.
You like DEWALT's version of yellow?
Yeah.
Better than
I like the
Milwaukee's version of yellow?
I like the DEWALT fluorescent yellow because I feel like my eye grabs that, but the contrast in the Milwaukee yellows from this distance is a little bit easier to read.
My wife would be like, you do need glasses. You do need glasses. A1, 6 7/8. A2, 9 3/16. A3, 13 7/8. B1, we were at 23 14/16. B2, we're at 26 3/16. B3, we are at 30 7/8. C1, we're at 16 1/16. C2, we're at 18 7/16. C3, we're at 23 1/8. D1, 20 3/8. D2, we're at 22 3/4. D3, we're at 27 1/2. I feel like C, which was the stud, reads the best for me. There's a good contrast between the yellow and the black. The coating on top of the tape, it adds something to it. It just breaks up or creates more contrast between the black and the yellow. The second most readable here for me, B actually. It does have a nice high vis yellow. I wish that the graduations were a little bit darker. The graduations in D, they kind of blend together for me. If I can get the darkness of those hash marks in B, which would be the other DEWALT tape, that would be pretty much perfect for me as a second place. Next up, we will be testing DEWALT and Milwaukee's Standout claims. Now, I am 100% confident in my ability to manually deploy each of these tape measures to a point of failure. But some of you said, hey Vince, when you deploy those tape measures, you're doing it faster this time or slower, or you're not extending your arm as much. So to eliminate all of the variables, we have constructed a radio-controlled tape measure standout tester. Eliminates all of the human interaction. First up, we have Milwaukee's 25-foot compact tape measure. They're claiming 12 foot of reach. Now they're using that reach metric in lieu of the more traditional standout. Let's just see the actual breakpoint of this tape's scale. Next up, we have DEWALT's Atomic Compact Tape Measure with a claimed standout of 13 total feet. Let's see how it does. DEWALT ToughSeries, 17 foot of claimed reach. So far, of the three that I've tested, the DEWALT has impressed me the most. You can actually see as the tape is deployed how it supports itself by curving in the middle and almost creating a truss-like structure by using the edges of the tape to strengthen itself. Pretty cool. Next up, we have Milwaukee's 25-foot magnetic stud with a claimed standout or reach of 17 feet. I will say that it has a very similar feel width-wise and construction-wise to the DEWALT ToughSeries. I would expect very similar standout. Let's see. It's going to be a dead heat. Next up, we have the randomized drop test. A lot of you might not know this about me, but I used to be a set builder and stagehand for the Price is Right TV show. My stint was from 1983 all the way till the time when Bob Barker retired. The randomized drop test is just not a test for the case body itself. It will also point out or detect or determine if this body actually helps to protect here the blade or the hook on the blade. First up, we're going to have the Milwaukee Stud Magnetic. 1, 2, 3. Milwaukee 25-foot compact, come on down. Tape looks okay. A little bit of abrasions. I am a little worried about the hook. DEWALT ATOMIC Series tape. If you look at the amount that the hook actually sticks past the body of the tape measure, we've already determined that this is probably the weakest part of the tape. It does look slightly abraded here at the bottom of the hook. At this point, we're going to confirm if any damage through our testing has been done to the scale or the hook of our tape measures by reconfirming the 4-foot mark on our OSB. You can see the 4-foot mark. It's reading just as true now as it did. Next up for confirmations, DEWALT ATOMIC 25-foot compact tape measure. See if it reads any different. It looks pretty good. It's the Milwaukee stud. A little concerned about the impact, but it's on. Finally, DEWALT's Tough system. And this tape measure is off by a 32nd, maybe a 64th, but it's being off has nothing to do with the testing we've put it through. It was off slightly to begin with. Now that we have all of our data compiled, I can finally give you the results. We're going to start with the first category that we've scored, and that is the initial accuracy of the tape measures out of the box. Each tape measure got a single point for being accurate. One tape measure, the Tough system tape, actually got minus a point because it was off a 32nd to a 16th right out of the box. And although if you had pairs of Tough system tape measures, your helper might be working with a Tough system each, right? It's still not reading accurate against every other tape measure tested here. Quite frankly, against every other tape measure we had in the shop. So it got minus a point. Next up was the retraction test. Overall winner, fastest retracted, was the Milwaukee Compact. The second fastest to retract is the Milwaukee Stud. Second to last to retract was the DEWALT Tough System Tape, or Tough Tape. And the slowest to retract is DEWALT's Atomic Tape. Readability. This was very close. There was one tie here, but there was a clear winner. Milwaukee Stud gained 4 points. Second place was tied between the Milwaukee Compact and DEWALT Atomic. And in last place was DEWALT Tough Tape, or ToughSeries Tape, which scored it only 1 point. Next up is Standout. We scored this one a little bit differently. It was based on how much Standout the tape measure delivered against the claim of the manufacturer, not based on actual Standout of the tape measure. We have a first place tie between Milwaukee's compact tape measure and DEWALT's Atomic. Both were given 4 points. Now, Milwaukee's compact tape measure had a claim of 144 inches. I need to refer to my notes here. Or 12 feet. On average, Milwaukee delivered 9.1 feet of Standout. The Atomic tape also delivered 10 feet on average of Standout, but here's the problem. DEWALT claimed 13 foot of Standout, so that delivered a tie. Now, in third place, DEWALT's ToughSeries Tape. DEWALT claimed 17 foot of Standout. On average, it delivered in the 13, 12 and a half foot range of Standout. And then finally, Milwaukee Stud. I really was kind of let down by this. It did feel on par with DEWALT's scale for Standout and sturdiness, But here's the problem. Milwaukee claimed 17 foot of Standout, but on average only delivered around 11 foot. Put it in last place for Standout. Features. Here's the thing. They're all very comparable. A lot of features, as far as like the size, the overmolding, could be somewhat subjective. So we pretty much left it to the dual-sided scale, as well as having a magnetic hook. We averaged out the cost of these tape measures, and the more feature-rich tape measures are 50% more than the compact tape measures. So when delivering 2 extra features, we only scored them, or we only gave them 2 additional points, which went to the stud and to the ToughSeries. Now that we have all of the testing criteria and scoring out of the way, and we've talked about the additional features, I'm gonna let you know the price points on these tape measures. DEWALT ToughSeries Tape Measure is $25. The Milwaukee Compact Tape Measure, $17. The Atomic Series from DEWALT is also $17. And the most expensive tape measure on this table is the stud at $33. The winner of the Compact Series of tape measures is Milwaukee's Compact. When taking everything into account for the full featured tape measures, the winner is Milwaukee's 25-foot magnetic stud. Now here's the shocker. When taking all of the price into account, all the features, everything that's minused away, you're gonna mind blown. The overall winner of this contest, Milwaukee's Compact. If you're in the market for a highly readable, highly accurate, perfectly priced tape measure right there in the middle, but of the most purchased tape measure in all of the Home Depot, this is the sweet spot. Leave it down below. What do you think of our testing? Has it helped you? Has it hurt you? Are your feelings like, I can't take this anymore? We want to know. Leave it all below. Also, if we were to test some other tape measures, which one would you want to see? With that, I want to say I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thanks a lot, everybody. We hope to see you all on the next one.